So we're up at the start with the next race, which is the final of the women's novice cock squad. Just a recap of the women's junior 16 double to confirm it was Fermoy who took the win there, just ahead of that Shannon crew. Really exciting finish, so well done to Fermoy. And we just saw the Athlone crew taking the win in the men's junior 18 quad as well. And we're underway now with the next race, which is the women's novice quad between, in lane 1 UL, lane 2 Queens, lane 3 UCC, lane 4 Commercial, lane 5 Trinity A, and lane 6 Trinity B. So 6 boats in this women's novice quad final. We saw UCD taking the win in the men's event earlier on. We'll see if they can go 2 for 2. And again, the winners of the heats would be placed in the centre of the course. Looking down the course now, hopefully Allen's in position and they'll be getting ready, but looks like it is lane 2. Queen's leading this one out. So just coming off the first few hundred metres, hopefully Allen's in position to pick up this race. The final of the women's novice quads.
Thanks, Richie. Yes, so as we approach the lunch break, 10 finals in a row here, and at 300 metres we have the women's novice coxed quad, UL, Queens, UCC, Commercial, and 2 Trinity boats. And showing early, I'd have to say, is the Queen's University UCC crew. The Trinity A crew then also in the mix at this stage. UL then slightly back, Commercial slightly back, but again only 400 metre gone. A little bit of drizzle falling now down at the start. Nothing too much. Flat calm conditions here. Great sculling weather as they pass us now, and we are just coming up on the 500 metre mark. I'd say it's UCC and Queens in the mix there. Trinity A, Commercial, UL, and then the Commercial or the Trinity B crew. But there is probably 4 lengths covering the field at this stage. They go through 500 metres and it's UCC holding that lead over Queens, over Trinity, but Trinity are on a bit of a pushback at this stage. They certainly haven't let them go. Really nice sculling now from these novice scullers. Moving very well through the water. Trinity B slightly back, Commercial slightly back, UL slightly back, but moving out in front, and I'd say probably pushing out for a further lead. You've got UCC, Queens, and that Trinity A crew. So I would say those 3 will be in the mix at the finish now. Commercial haven't let it go, neither have UL. But slightly a little bit messy now on the enclosure side is the Trinity B crew. They are fading a little bit out of this as UCC put the hammer down and really put a squeeze on through the first 600-700 metres. They are rowing really, really well, really together. Queens, who probably led in that first 300 or 400 metres now, edging back, unfortunately, losing a bit of ground to UCC and to Trinity. So as we look across there, those 3 boats of UCC, Queen's University and Dublin University Ladies Boat Club have taken the lead over UL, Commercial and the second Trinity crew. Clearwater now, 2 lengths I would say to UCC as we go through 750, approaching the 1,000 metre mark, moving really, really well. The stroke in the UCC gauges across, looks at that Trinity boat, looks across towards us here at the Queen's University boat, gauges where we are. Of course, the cock's doing all the steering, all the hard work in this one. The rowers really hammering away, approaching 1,000 metres, and UCC have run really, really well to pull this probably 2-length, maybe even a little more, 2-length lead out of Trinity, who have a half-length lead over Queen's University. Then it's further on back, probably 2 lengths to UL, Commercial, and then back again to the second Trinity crew. But this UCC crew through 1,000 metres now are really on fire, and it is hard to see either of these college boats coming back at the UCC crew, because Queens and Trinity have to do something really drastic, because that 2 lengths has now gone to probably 3 lengths, and I don't see it coming back. I haven't seen a bad stroke coming out of that UCC crew. They've held their advantage in lane 3 from about 800 metres gone, and they are now putting UCC to the sword. The Trinity are fading at this stage. They've given everything they can, and it's just not enough to contend with this UCC crew. Queen's University still not out of it, but they're going to have to do something, and they're going to have to do something quick, and I don't know if they can. I think UCC will answer any challenge that Queen's University put up to them. Trinity fading, UL moving up on Trinity, closing the gap for that third spot. Further on back, Commercial doing quite well, holding off that second Trinity crew, but there is a distance between the front and the back of this race, because UCC are in control, and in control well. As I say that now, there is some reaction from Queen's University. They've upped the rate, they're going to have to do something, but that 3 lengths is now 3.5 lengths, and I don't see it being reeled back in. Dominant performance here by UCC. They really, once they got that lead, they commanded it and they inched it out with every stroke, and they're still rowing together. They are so sweet moving. They belie their novice status at this stage. Hard to imagine that these guys are only rowing a couple of years, because they are moving this boat through the water now. As I say that, the commentator's curse kicks in, and a dodgy stroke there from the stroke in the UCC crew doesn't seem to upset them. She's got it back, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It was a great recovery, to be honest, and I don't think they've lost much ground. They're still probably holding 3 lengths over Queen's, holding a length over Trinity. UL on a big push back now to try and claim that third spot. I'd better shut up now about UCC lest I throw any bad luck their way, but they are still looking very, very good for this. We're inside the last 500. They probably have about 400 metres to go, and they're well in control. I won't say they can afford another mistake, but they have rode this race really well, really dominated. Queens have done all they can, but they just couldn't close the gap. They needed to stay with UCC while there was still very little between them, but UCC inched away, and as they go towards the finish and we hand it over to the tower, it's UCC from Queen's, from Trinity, with a big pushback coming from UL, further back to Commercial, further back to the Trinity second crew, over to the tower.
Thanks, Alan. Great to see these women's novice cock squad came through the races earlier on, and I have a very happy Taoiseach Micheál Martin here beside me on the balcony, cheering on a Cork crew from UCC who are leading out the women's novice cock squad race. They came through the heats earlier on this morning, leading in their heat, taking that first qualifying spot. They're leading it here from Queen's, who did their best to put pressure on them as they came in. We saw some fantastic side-by-side footage. Just looking at the overhead there, you can see the clear water that UCC have opened up against the chasing pack that's there. Nearest to them in inside lane, it is the crew from Queen's in second place, and then a real battle, it looks like the Trinity crew, current holders of this championship, back in third place, ahead then of the crew in lane 1 from UL. They're the 1, 2, 3, 4, no doubt about the leaders here as they come in towards the finish. UCC looking for the 4th championship of our 2024 regatta, having picked up 3 championships yet, and they're in full control as they come in here. Lots of local support for these novice women, first year of rowing, and a championship going to be under the belt. Finish line is in sight for them. Lots of encouragement from the cocks as well as they come in. It is going to be UCC taking the win ahead of the crew from Queen's. They're the 1 and 2, arms aloft, and a little reach back from the cocks. You can see her sitting up now. Celebrations there from UCC. Queen's in second place, and it is going to be the crew nearest to us coming in, closing out these races. UL as well back in 4th place, and our crews from Commercial and Trinity to close out the women's novice cock squad. So the win they're going to the crew from UCC, and that closes out that race. We'll be back shortly with the next final, which is going to be the final of the men's intermediate single scull.